Hi everybody, how are you feeling? I'm a little puffy because I've been moving around cleaning up my room and I just sat down, so eventually I'll just be back to talking like a normal person. I have had, I might look a little tired and disheveled. I've had an interesting 2 weeks. There have been some challenges, and a little time at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Hilton over the weekend. And they got several things identified in the process of checking out a big subcutaneous bleed that happened around my scar. And as a laboratorian, I know how much a pint of blood is. And I swear a pint of blood bled out under my skin. Because number one, you may have seen my risque bathing suit pictures, or it was actually a bra, of the lump on my back that I developed. And if you took a unit of blood and with the serum separated, it wasn't like 700 mLs, but it was a good 400. And it was like you could have taped that to my other shoulder and it would have matched the shoulder that had the bleed. And of course, when that much volume goes into an area over a short amount of time, I think I did it stretching in rehab. I used to do yoga and the stretches felt so good that I just extended into the stretches too much, I think. Nothing really hurt at the time. But boy, oh boy, the next day when I woke up, this whole right side, my right boob was like twice the size of my left boob, and I had this big hump on the over the incision scar where I had my surgery. So that had happened once before with a smaller amount of fluid, and we just watched it for the weekend. And it resorbed quickly on its own and it didn't cause any pain. But this was like 5 times the size of that bleed. And I got a little bit of blood in a pleural effusion of fluid and blood around my lung. And it made everything in that right quadrant so crowded with all the excess, I could feel it sloshing pretty much. Maybe not quite that exaggerated, but when I moved, I could feel it moving too, And between the increased internal pressure and all of those muscles that I overstretched, starting to scream at me the day after, and that right upper quadrant, I could barely move. And every time I tried to take a deep breath, I got this stabbing pain in that right side of my chest. And of course the pleura, the lining around the lungs, got all inflamed, and I was sleeping all the time, and so my electrolytes went out of balance, and it just started this cascade that I ended up in the hospital Friday night, and the bleed had happened on Thursday. So I spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the hospital. Sorry, I should have written all this down. I never take notes. But anyway, they got so much done in the hospital. They took care of that, and I had time to heal with that. And of course, my broken or bruised coccyx had some time to just, heal as well. And then because of the degree of pain I was having, they gave me a little pain medicine so that I could at least, sleep and be comfortable. And they found out that I might have both a thyroid and a parathyroid issue, both of which cause some of the problems that I've been seeing lately. And they found out that I have a pretty moderate to severe folate deficiency. And that's not uncommon in older women. And I had also, the last however many years, I may not have been getting enough in my diet because I wasn't eating hardly much at all. Those of you who know me from high school, I mean, my friend Bill Circuit Rider says, "You eat like a bird, you eat like a bird." And I probably eat about the third of a normal diet right now. Anyway, it's a diet rich in folate, but it still might not be enough dietarily to keep me with a healthy folate level in my blood. So they put me on folate supplements, and interestingly enough, also with a folate deficiency, every single symptom but one was one that I'm having. So, I'm also on all those medications, so you can't really determine what specifically it is, but they just tossed me on a folate supplement, and I already feel much better. So we'll see how that goes. And then I have to see an endocrinologist because of family history of type 2 diabetes, though I don't have it yet. They think I'm pre-diabetes at this point, which doesn't surprise me in the least. And my thyroid and my parathyroid are going to, diabetes, thyroid, parathyroid are all endocrinologists. So when I go see him, I'm going to be keeping him hopping because I got it all. My kidneys are improving, which is really nice to hear. And so I don't, as long as I behave myself, I don't have to worry too much about what's going on with the kidneys. They'll just keep on healing. The kidney issues are pretty much inevitable in transplant patients because of the immunosuppressants and all the drugs that you're on that get processed through the kidneys. And so they try to keep you on as even a keel as possible because of that. But anyway, so Tuesday I went to rehab, and it was seriously one of those gut jobs, crawling out of the desert kind of experiences because I had lost so much conditioning, and that was my first day back at rehab. And I actually had to, that day and this day, I've had to use a little oxygen at rehab in order to get the exercise benefit without going below 90 in my oxygen. But that's coming back, and it was mostly because I had slipped back into that protective breathing mode where when something's going to hurt really bad, if you do it, if you breathe in too deeply, if you cough, if you sneeze, you try not to do all of that stuff. And so I was completely unaware of it, but I was operating kind of in a way that partially collapsed my lung because I didn't want to take a deep breath. So they reminded me of that. And with the pain medicine, I was able to go ahead and open my lung up more while I was in the hospital, and then have kept opening it up more since I came home on Sunday afternoon. And very soon, I'll be able to do that exercise without any oxygen. And when I'm at home and just strolling around and, I can sit when I want to, I don't use any oxygen at all. It was just in the hospital that I had some, and in rehab I'm having some. So last night was Wednesday, and I had decided that I was going to cook supper. And it was pretty much just like the rehab experience of the dying woman crawling across the desert, trying to get the whole thing put together. But my timing was perfect, and everything came out great, and all I had to do was sit down a lot, and it worked beautifully. And yesterday I was able to resume my own at-home walking thing, so I don't think I did a full mile, but I think it was 3/4. And that's just to tell you that, the first year roller coaster, you're way up, and then things get kind of dark and scary, and then you're way up again. And this is my second time climbing out of the pit. And today I feel really, really good. You can tell I'm tired and I'm still working my way up. And I have 4 days of not doing anything that's not driven by me. No appointments, no rehab, no scheduled anything. Circuit rider is his niece and her daughter are coming in for the weekend, and everybody knows that I'm not really up to doing all the things they're gonna do while they're here. So I totally get to visit when I want and feel able to. Look, my hat. See, I just put my hat on my head. I got to tilt kind of like this though. Anyway, the longer I hang out with Circuit Rider, the goofier I get. Anyway, yeah, so he's got company in town, his girls, and they're going to run around and do stuff. And I'm going to do stuff too, but I'm going to do it here. And if we feel like sharing a meal, we're gonna. Otherwise, we're just on our own. And my roommate has company. So it's funny because I really like that. I really like that. It's going to be kind of a weekend off, but without having to not be around him and them. So I got my little, there's a door that closes my suite off from the rest of the apartment, and it's nearly soundproof. And so they're spending, you know, they'll spend some time in the house, but I've got my little sanctuary back here because they know that I'm still healing. And Briella, the daughter, and Danielle brought their bathing suits and games, and they're just going to enjoy and soak up some Uncle Billy this weekend and fly out again on Tuesday. Get their dose of magic from one of the most magical people on the planet. So that's what's going on. I keep trying to sit up straight and get myself all unkinked. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to tell you, but you know, that's pretty much, my life is mostly recovery and self-focused. But I'm really looking forward to the day when it can be more outward focused and I get out more. Oh, and I think I had put on the, I think I put on the web that I had my first IHOP dining experience. And I didn't take my walker, and I was able to walk from the other side of Sepulveda Boulevard, which that's 5 lanes wide, if you're not familiar with it. And I had to go across some uneven grass because, you know, lateral stability and balance is still an issue. And then I had to cross the 5 lanes before traffic resumed. And then, you know, we went and sat in the restaurant, and I accomplished all of that really well. So Circuit Rider has promised that we'll get out to do something, dinner out or walk in a neighborhood that's cool, or we'll get out to do something every 3 times a week. We'll work up to 3. And then I'll be better able to walk, and I can just take off out of the apartment door and take my walkers to have someplace to sit whenever I need it, and to put my money in the storage thing in the walker and go and do a little shopping. And my first attempt at that, my PCP, primary care person, you have to follow up with them after the ER visit. So next Wednesday, I have an appointment with her, and she's exactly 1 mile from the apartment. So if things continue to go well, I'm not going to push it too hard or anything, but if things continue to go well, I'm going to try to walk to my PCP appointment. It's a beautifully appointed exercise trail that goes past the marina and right to her office building. And we'll see how it goes. I don't want to be overambitious, but I might be able to do that trip, in which case I'd carry my camera in the storage part of my walker and on the way home anyway, when I don't have to meet a deadline for checking in, I can use my camera to take some cool pictures of the boats and stuff. So I think I have you all filled in. If I think of anything else, I'll just get back on. And thanks for hanging in there with me and giving me encouragement despite the fact that I didn't really get to respond to very many people. I just, it's really something to be so wiped out that you can easily sleep 16 or 18 hours a day and just, answering comments on Facebook is beyond your capacity. But a little bit of a cough, that pleuritic cough, but I'm feeling great. I'm doing great. And thanks for being one of my mainstays in terms of keeping my spirits up when I'm going through stuff like that. And you prayer warriors are just, I'm so grateful for you. Anyway, I always do this gushing thing at the end. But I love you. And that's the update as of right now. And when there's anything new to tell you, I'll jump on and tell you. Okay, love you guys. Hope you're doing good out there in this fallen battleground that we live in. And I'm really, I'm an optimistic person by nature, but I see some hopeful signs. One of them being that the Supreme Court really pulled off a good one when they said that California has to pay for closing down and suing, or has to reimburse the people that had to defend against a lawsuit that was brought against them, and not in keeping with our glorious Constitution that is unlike any other in the world and is under great threat right now. So I'm seeing a few signs of hope, and we'll see where it goes in both areas, me and the world, and you guys. All right, love you. We'll talk to you a little bit later.